there's multiple right ways to do business. Like you don't have like what Chad just said is 100% real and it works and it's legit and it actually works really well. But there's other ways to do it too. Like for example, I consider myself more of an artist than an entrepreneur.
Unlock the secret sauce of millionaire entrepreneurs. This is your exclusive VIP pass to the hidden world of the ultra successful business owners. I'm Chad Kaderi, CEO of DashClicks, and welcome to Behind the Revenue. What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Behind the Revenue. We have my good friend Akbar Sheikh on from Gift Tech. Akbar, what's going on, brother? It's been a while. How's everything going? For context, if you can, tell the viewers a little bit more about who you are, what you do.
Yeah, man. Well, happy to be here. Founder of the Make More, Give More movement. Just a business coach. Been doing it for probably the better part of a decade. Just helping, online businesses, people who have a talent. We help them wrap a business around that talent. And just help them scale, try to help them become seven-figure givers and stuff of that nature. We've handed out over 80 trophies all over the world, and that's kind of our attempt at a contribution in this lifetime.
I love it, man. And I wanna peel the onion back. I want to go a little bit more into your coaching program. So I know you've been doing coaching for a while. I've been friends with you for a while. We've spoken at events together. Tell me a little bit about, like, when somebody joins your coaching program, there's a lot of different kinds of coaching, right? What type of coaching program do you have? Is it primarily revolved around like funnels and Facebook ads and things like that? And if so, just kind of peel the onion back for me.
It's interesting, man. Because we've been doing it for a while, we got it down to a bit of a science, right? Where it's like, we've helped our clients do a couple $100 million in revenue, handed out over 80 trophies. So, we figured a couple of things out. What's cool about it, man, is that like it's unique in the sense where it's not super like structured or organized. It's really not. It's really like, let me ask you this: like, have you been to Vegas?
I have multiple times.
Yeah. So have you been to like a really nice buffet in Vegas?
I have. Yep.
You leave happy.
Yeah.
Because like there's something there you're gonna like, and there's something there that's gonna make you happy. Our coaching program is honestly like that, where it's not that we just focus on funnels. Honestly, we focus on all of it. So mindset, offers, funnels, traffic, sales, fulfillment. And then we just flood you with support. So it's like it's not like people, because I have really interesting data. And the interesting data is I've interviewed the trophy winners. And number one, I'll tell you the commonality that these guys have. What makes those guys different from the people who don't have success? The people who have had success with us, here's what they look like. They're actually just very nice people. They are givers. They don't blame anybody but themselves. They work consistently and persistently. They're disciplined. And the most important thing, they're coachable. And the most important thing is they absolutely refuse to give up. And so that's kind of the avatar that we found over the years, that like if somebody fits that, you have like a really solid chance of winning. So, but to answer your question, it's like we give people a whole buffet, man. And and I always ask, because I interview people like, hey man, what did we do to help you get the trophy? And what's really cool? It's not like, oh, Akbar, I went through your program step by step. I first did the mindset, then I did the offer, then I did it's like that only happens a couple of times. But what I love is like, Akbar, it was that one thing you taught me about client acquisition, or it was that one thing you made, that one shift you gave my mind about organic traffic, because I never did it before, but you made me think about it differently, and it took off. In other words, it's like everyone I ask, it's almost like a different story. I had one guy say, I have a module on how to like design your office for optimal success. And one guy's like, dude, honestly, that module alone just made me six figures. And so like, it's just like, hey man, God gives everybody a gift. We've been in business since we were a kid, because my dad was in business and he took me as a kid on the weekends to the store. Grew up in Lake Ladies clothing stores and general merchandise stores like mini Walmarts and stuff like that. And so, like, I know how to grow a business, and the thing I love about coaching the relationship is, dude, you're in the box, I'm outside the box. I'll give you a perfect example. I'm not that smart, but I'll say I'm a little smart. But like, I was sitting in my office, and my sister came over to my office, and she's like, "Why do you pay so much money and rent this place? Why don't you just buy it? Why don't you just buy a building, and your mortgage will be the same, and you can work there?" And I'm just like, now think about that for a second. Like, I'm not an idiot. Like, I'm an adult. I have kids. I have like a successful like top 1% business or whatever. But like, that thought never crossed my mind, and it's because I was in the box. And my sister, who's not a business coach, although she ended up doing a little bit, by the way, that's a different story. She was outside the box, and she saw something that I'm like, oh my god. And I get that reaction all the time from my clients because they can't see it because they're in the box, they're too close to it. I'm outside. I'll be like, why didn't you do that? And they're like, oh my god, why didn't I think about that? And so that's one of my favorite parts about coaching is that it's so natural and elegant in that way. So yeah, man, I don't know. I hope that's a
Oh,
lot,
that
but I hope that makes sense.
that does, and I can relate to a lot of the things that you're saying. Obviously, we've been doing coaching here at DashClicks for about 7 years now, 6 or 7 years, primarily for marketing agencies. And what I see, and it's funny, I say this, I actually say this one statement in the very first video in the very first module inside of almost every single course that we've shot, like the big ones. And I say there's literally going to be hundreds of people that come into this program, and they're all going to have the exact same thing. They're going to be going through all of the modules that you're about to go through. They're probably going to be using DashClicks, right? So they're going to have the same software and tools that you're going to have, right? And what is the one difference? Why is that? Why is there going to be people that actually go out and crush it and make 6, 7, 8, whatever figures, and then you who are in the same group, same networking, right? You're getting coached by the same people. You have the same software tools. You literally have everything the same. Why are you not going to make it? And the number one thing is mindset and discipline. So when you said discipline, like, that's a big one. We have people that come in, just to share some examples for anybody out there that wants to get coached. Like, don't join a coaching program if you can't commit. That's the
Yeah.
first thing that I'll tell you. There's so many people I see nowadays that join coaching programs out of pure excitement and just instinct to just want to like go forward within that moment. And then they come in and they're in there for like 3 days and they're like, oh my God, I actually have to do work. Or like, oh, I actually have to do something. This is crazy. I didn't think I'd have to do anything. Right?
And, yeah. And I'll tell you something, man. This is something the hustle culture doesn't teach.
Exactly.
Because the hustle culture, and I at times in my career have been a victim of it for sure. Hustle culture is no excuse. As a matter of fact, I'm probably on record on some podcast somewhere saying that. No excuses. I don't care. Get to work. Let's go. But the reality of life is that there's seasons. I'll give you an example. I had a client. I let him go from the program because he asked to be let go, and I said, of course. He had cancer. And so, like, the old me is like, whatever, dude. Like, okay, there's other people who have cancer and they're crushing it. Like, come on, let's go. No excuse. But, dude, and sometimes as a coach, you have to go. That's why it drives me nuts when I see, like I saw, like life coaches who are not married without kids, or, like, business coaches who never made any money.
Yep.
So, like, I had to go through some stuff, too, where it's like, my sister went through cancer. And honestly, my business, I totally let go of my business when that happened. I haven't been like really public about this, but dude, I was actually days away from going last year. I was literally days away from going bankrupt.
Wow.
Because I just was mentally gone. Like my sister was dying, and she's like 35 years old, my best friend. I'm just focusing on that. Like, I'm just focusing on her, trying to like find a cure and like find a miracle and like, travel with her, be with her. And that was not a season of my growth. And if some guru came up to me, be like, yeah, whatever, get back to work, I'd probably punch him in the face.
Yeah.
I'd be like, you have no idea what you're talking about. even though I've never punched anybody in my life. But but I understand that now more than ever because I've been there, and I've been at a phase where it's like, dude, you know, sometimes like I disagree. As a matter of fact, I actually like Alex Hormozy. I have a lot of love and respect for him. I think he's brilliant. I thought he was brilliant when I saw him talk years ago before he was famous. To be honest with you, but he's like, you know, I just commented on Twitter. I was like, BS. And actually, I didn't have time. I was going to go into a whole rant, but he's like, um, you want to outperform your competitors. Like, you can have a balanced life, just don't expect to be the best. And that's just BS, right? Because he's like, the best times to work is when everyone else is not. Just you wanna make more money or whatever. Work nights and weekends. I'm just like, dude, this is such a toxic and unhealthy message because the reality is true happiness comes from balance. It comes from balance. Dude, like, I'm shocked that these people are saying things like this. I remember giving a talk with Damon John. I think you were there too, right? At
Yeah,
Caricon?
I spoke at that event with you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was really cool that we spoke on stage with him because like 10 or 11 years prior when I was completely broke and like lost, I actually went to attend an event that he was speaking at. And at that event, he's like, yeah, we did really well. But I think he's like, I'll tell you, it's like, it didn't come without sacrifice. Like, I think he lost his wife and like his kids and stuff, like divorced. And you hear a lot of stories like that. So it's like, dude, you work nights, weekends, and this and that. Your husband or wife is not gonna. They're not gonna be
No.
into that, and your relationship is gonna suffer. And dude, no amount of money is worth that. You know. So I'm a big proponent of work life balance. Am I the most successful financially? Am I the most successful coach in the marketplace? No. Do I want to be or need to be? No. Do I do very well? Yes. Am I content? Yes. And that's good enough. You know, I don't need to be the best. I really don't. Like, I do believe we have the best coaching program. I don't need to be the guy making the most money out there. I don't. You know, there's no need for that. I have kids. I have a wife. I have parents. I have siblings. I have neighbors. I have friends. I have other interests, other hobbies. You, you
Let me
know,
let me ask you a
um,
question. The and just so I can get some context, the people your coaching program itself, are you training coaches? Is it mainly coaches that are coming into the program, or is it just regular businesses and agencies? And
yeah, they're high ticket entrepreneurs, mostly coaches, agencies, existing or people who want to get into that.
got you. Is there like a qualification or a metric that you have for somebody joining your program? Like, hey, you can say, hey, this person's unqualified. What would
Yeah,
an
like
unqualified person?
an unqualified person, with all due respect, is somebody who's never had any success in their life. Um, because that was me for like 10 years. And like, if you've never, like, okay, if you've never had any success, that means that you've got some really bad mindset issues. And so that needs to be fixed. That needs to be fixed before you can make any progress. Like, I could give you like the world's number one best blueprint on how to make like whatever 7 figures as an online entrepreneur. You're not going to make a dollar if your mindset's messed up. That being said, like I honestly feel like our mindset training is some of the best out there. We will not take so we might get you in the program, but you might be coming in on a super low monthly plan, no commitment. It's like we'll try you out for a month, and honestly, the first month we don't even really make any money because we do a lot of like one-on-one stuff. You get a gift, and so it's like we might give you like a trial for a month if we're like not sure about you, and it's like no harm, no foul. Nobody really loses. Um, but generally speaking, you know, we like to work with intelligent people who are really committed, who really believe in make more, give more. That's our that's our ideal avatar, really.
When somebody's coming in, if somebody comes in with absolutely, first of all, I guess let me rephrase the question. The people that you have coming in, are they coming in with absolute, because tech now, building funnels and running Facebook ads and webinars and doing all of these techie things. There's tons of people that are not technical people, right? In fact, the majority of them are probably not
Yeah,
technical people. There's nothing wrong with that.
yeah,
How do you handle that? Do you have people on your team that will go out and build the funnels for them
yeah,
or build the
yeah,
systems?
yeah. do what you do best, outsource the rest, right? I mean, I'm tech
Yeah.
illiterate myself. So in our program, you actually, and I've done a crap job advertising this, to be honest with you, because it's so amazing, but you actually get unlimited tech support with us. So like, you don't know how to install the funnel or whatever, no problem. Hop on a Zoom with the tech team. They're going to like walk you through it. But now actually, they're actually going to just start doing it for you because it's just easier and quicker. So yeah, we don't have like a library showing you how to do that. I mean, that's a good idea that I just kind of thought of as you asked that question. We should have a video library explain to people how to do that. But one thing I've learned, man, is that people, most people just want done for you. Like they don't want to learn how to do it. They just want someone to do it
Well,
for them.
there's levels to coaching, and we all know it. It's basically do it yourself, right? And
Yeah,
then there's kind of like the done with you, and then
yeah,
there's the done for you,
yeah.
right? Which is more on the service side. So would you guys say you're more kind of in the middle?
We're look. I think that done for you is a bit of a racket. I think we're as done for you as possible. I think that people are either people are very innocent, very naive in the sense that there's no such thing as done for you. Like think about it. There's people out there say we'll build you a funnel and then we'll send you traffic, right? And we'll do it all for you, right? And then you have these people buying, be like, oh, awesome, I don't have to do anything. They'll build the funnel, they'll send the traffic, and I'm just going to make a bunch of money. That doesn't exist. Like that's just like the biggest joke in this industry and has been for a while. I don't know why people don't talk about it or people don't realize it, but there's no such thing. Like if that would work, then dude, why wouldn't everyone just do that? That's the easiest business model in the world. Like, okay, here's 10 grand, 20 grand, 30 grand. Go ahead, build my funnel, send traffic. I'll just sit here and chill, and
It's
y'all
kind,
make it
you know
great.
what it reminds me of? You know the Walmart stores, the Amazon stores. It kind of reminds me of that, where it's like, hey, we're gonna build you an Amazon store, and you're gonna make X amount of money per month, and you don't have to do
Yeah,
anything. You just sit back and you just give me 30K, and I'll do it. And I'm like, well, why don't
right.
you just do that 100 times yourself if you're
Yeah,
making that money? Why do
yeah,
you need other people to do it, right?
yeah.
That's
That's
what that reminds me of.
yeah, and those companies don't last.
Yeah.
Most of them, they don't last.
No. So and I want to talk like team wise. So how big's your team right now? Like I know in the
Yeah,
coaching industry, there's product specialists that are
yeah,
specific. You have your
yeah,
mindset coach, your sales coach,
yeah,
your funnel coach, copy coach,
yeah,
whatever it is. How's
yeah.
yours breaking down?
Well,
Broken
so
down?
I had a much bigger team, right? And then like last year when I was just basically with my sister and stuff, I let go of a good amount of my team. So I can talk about my team before and I can talk about it now. So right now we're in rebuild mode. I'm actually finally, as of like 2 months ago or something, I'm like mentally back. I got my energy back. I got my smile back. Like, although it's funny because like I now am like, I feel like I'm grieving more than I did in the past year, but I'm just energetically back. Um, I'm back in business. I'm back in growth mode, and that started like 2 months ago. So, I had a setter team. I've had a setter team for a while. I let go of them, but now I'm bringing them back. One is just bought one back. I had a sales team. I let go of them. Now we're bringing them back. I had a CEO. We let go of them. I have a director of client success who's a trophy winner in our program. She's a superstar. I hired her full time. She has one job, and that's to get our clients trophies. I have a lot of coaches. I have a mindset coach, a sales coach, a funnel and copy coach, tech. We have a whole big tech department that we've hired. Luckily, they're happen to be my second cousin. They're very talented. I of course I've had my VA since pretty much day one. Um,
So when someone comes into your ecosystem, whether they have a tech issue, a mindset issue, a sales issue, a funnel issue, there's support that they can get across the board from somebody.
yeah, dude. I always say turn your pain into profit, right? Like I remember like before I didn't really offer a lot of. It was just me supporting, and so dude, I would have two Q&As a week, and each one was 3 hours long, and I was ready to like
Hmm.
shoot myself. I'm like, this is like, because dude, solving one problem is hard enough.
For
Like
one
it's
person.
yeah,
Now
and so
imagine
imagine like
multiple people
6 hours solving problems. It's funny. I'd come home and I'd be like exhausted. And my wife's like, "You just sit at your desk all day. Like, what are you tired from? You don't go like
mentally.
you're not in construction. You know what I'm saying? Like that's more like mental stuff is more exhausting than physical stuff. And so I just was burning. A lot of cool things happened in my business for me burning out. Actually, right? So to take a step back, when I first started all those years ago, I was doing my own sales calls. Now I was still doing 6 figures a month, by the way. But it got to the point I'll never forget. I was in the middle of a sales call, and I'm just like, "Hey, oh, sorry, something just happened. Can I call you right back?" And that was in the middle of a sales call. I hung up. I didn't call him back. It was that exact moment. I'm like, I cannot take another sales call. And so immediately I had to hire a sales team. And I didn't do it before because I always thought that, like, well, I'm really good at it. Who's going to do it better than me? Who knows my business better than me? But then, like, I remember, and this is so cheesy and quintessential internet marketing, but it just happens to be true. But we were at some beach somewhere on vacation, and I get this ding on my phone, and whatever it was, 5, 10,000, 20,000, whatever it was. And I was like playing with my kids, like literally building a sandcastle, whatever. And I'm like, huh, my sales team did that without me. And that was like the first time that happened. I'm like, crap, should have done that a long time ago. And so, yeah. So, and again, I was getting burnt out from doing support calls. So I'm like, oh, and another thing that happened is I had a mastermind and somebody left it. They're like, hey, dude, we love you, but like, honestly, there's just not enough support here. So we're leaving. We're not renewing our mastermind with you. And that was like somebody punching me in the stomach and the throat at the same time.
That's the
And I was like,
worst.
you want support? Watch this. Okay. And I just flooded up. Like, I honestly, and I'm open to being, no one's been able to prove me wrong. And I'm open for someone to do that. I think that there's no program in our space that has more support than we do now. I've flooded it so much with support that I used to go from having 6-hour Q&As that, like, the last Q&A I had, there was like one question for me. And I had to force them to ask me a question because I've flooded it now with so much support. They're in a WhatsApp group with me. They've got a one-on-one business coach. They've got like a bunch of individual business coaches. They've got unlimited tech support. They've got this and this and this. So, we just turned our pain into profits.
What's the, just for context, because obviously with a lot of support comes with somebody's got to pay to join, right? You can't get
Yeah.
support like that for $100 a month, right?
Yeah.
So what does it cost to join your program if somebody wants to
And
join? What does
we're
it look like?
we are like, I'm not just saying this. You're in the industry. I'm stupidly underpriced. And if you were to ask me, like, Akbar, why? It's so weird. I don't have an answer for you. I really don't. I don't know. It hasn't been on my to-do list to look into it. But there's two deals. One is primarily $497 a month for everything. And that includes like our software, which is a white label of GHL. But it's really cool because we've legitimately spent like six figures in years building out all these like automations and sequences and like funnels. And so we give it all to them in that account. It's called GiveTech. And so like everything they need to run their business is there. So it's kind of like a franchise. Like everything that we use to run our business, we just duplicate it in theirs.
Yep.
So it comes with that. It comes with working with me and my dream team daily, hands on. And it comes with the 7-figure blueprint, everything, to build a 7-figure business. So that's only $497 a month, which is really stupid. Or the even stupider deal is lifetime is only $10K. And that comes with a guarantee that I actually don't stop working with you until I pass you a 7-figure trophy. So, like, these prices should be double.
I
I
think
think the
those are
reason,
very reasonable. They're very reasonable prices.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know why they're so cheap.
We charge, I can just, relate because obviously, yes, I'm in the space. I've sold coaching. We've had we did the math the other day. We've had in our high ticket coaching program, which is called Dash Elite. We were charging $500 a month,
yeah,
which you could pay monthly for, or it was 5K a year, basically. So you'd save $1,000 and you'd pay 5K, or you'd spend 6K and you divide it up basically throughout the year. Right? We've had 487 people go through that program. That program's been open for like 4 years. We started about 2 years after we opened DashClicks. And it's funny because you see so many different types of individuals, so many different types of humans going through this, and you learn so much as a coach going through the program.
yeah,
But that price point at the $500 a month, especially we had a lot of newer agencies. So I would
yeah,
say primarily for us, we probably had about like 60-70% of the people who were like, I'm starting a marketing agency, or I want to start a marketing agency. um, you know what type of coaching program is a good fit for us? And the $500 a month would include our software, DashClicks. Hey, real quick, if you're a marketing agency or a B2B service or software provider, DashClicks offers white label fulfillment services and software to businesses just like yourself. Go ahead and create your free DashClicks account. I went ahead and left a link in the show notes, or you could just go to DashClicks.com. They would get the course, they would get the group coaching. So it wasn't so much one-on-one, it was more group coaching. We do the calls 3 times a week, right? So like it was your normal coaching program, right?
Yeah. They're all pretty much the same, right?
Yeah, they're all, everybody's got the same. Some people are like, no, I'm using School, then I use Slack and I use WhatsApp, and I'm like, it's all the
It's
same
all the
thing as
same,
long as you get the
different
support,
colors.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's all the same stuff. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But it for us, so we just started something that we tried, maybe could be for you, was a lower ticket item. What we realized is all these people that were coming into the coaching program. So you can picture, we had 487 people going into the coaching program, but we did a couple thousand phone calls through our Dash Elite program to pitch, and you can imagine a couple thousand people didn't buy. And when we looked at the reason why they weren't buying, it was primarily on price. It wasn't like, oh, the program's not good for me, I don't want to join it. Probably 90% of the rebuttals and rejections we were getting were on price, or it was like, I'm not there yet, right? I want to be there yet, but I'm not there yet financially, right? So what we did was, recently, this happened a little less than a month ago, we opened up a brand new program which was called Journey to 10K. But because what we realized was, most of the people who wanted to join, even though they wanted to join, they weren't even a good fit for that program anyways, right? Because that program was primarily focused on getting people to at least 6 figures, that 6 or 7 figures, right? That was the main. And then also, a couple things that we learned after coaching 487 people, and we had a spike at one point. I think there was like 140 people at the same time in the group, like on active subscriptions, right? Because when I say a 487, I'm talking about in a 4-year span, right? People come and go.
Yeah.
But what happens that you realize is, you do a group coaching call and like 30, 40 people show up live, and you have one guy that's doing 7 figures, and then you have one guy that just started his agency, and you're trying to coach the
Yeah.
same people in the same
Yeah.
bucket. And that didn't work because the guy that was in the same coaching program as the guy that we just started, he wasn't getting any value because the network wasn't the same skill set of people or the same level of people. And he had to now jump on a coaching call on somebody, figuring out what prospecting
Yeah.
meant, right?
Yeah.
So we redid our coaching program and we launched it. It's Dash Elite is closed. We closed it down, or we're closing it down. There's still a couple people in there that are transitioning over, but now we call it Agency Journey, which is pretty cool. And we split it up into 3 different phases, and it's Journey to 10K, Journey to 100K, and Journey to 7K. And in each journey, you're basically getting 3 different things. You get 3 completely separate different courses. You're also joining 3 completely separate coaching calls, right? So we're basically segmenting the audiences. So that way, the people that are trying to get to 7 figures that are already past 100K, well, they're all probably doing the same things, right?
Yeah.
They're trying to do the same activities.
Yeah.
So that's something that we launched. We launched the first iteration of it, which was Journey to 10K. We're working on Journey to 100K now.
Yeah.
And it's been pretty cool. I think we've had maybe like 25, 30 people join. It's only been like 3 weeks that we launched it, but we're seeing that it's cool because when people are joining, they're all on the same page, which is really nice.
Yeah.
So that's kind of something that we learned across the board.
Yeah.
Obviously, as we go higher up, the programs will be more expensive, right?
Yeah.
Most likely, the Journey to 100K will probably be around a $500 mark, and the Journey to 1M, we call it, is basically 7 figures. Will be our more like super high ticket, maybe 15, 20K, something like that.
Yeah. It's interesting. That's how because my first program was called, I think, the 7-Figure Family. And that was like anybody come. And I had all different types of people, but it was like I had ecom people, Amazon people, coaches, everything.
All over, yeah.
And that was a nightmare to because the thing is, like, if someone's asking me an Amazon question or whatever, I'm answering it. And honestly, it's of no benefit to everyone else on the call.
Yep.
And so that's when I decided to go into all right, let's just go into the high ticket guys, like the coaches and agencies, because that's all the same problems. And when I ask, and I'm very good at this in the sense, when I answer a question for someone, everyone benefits. But what you're talking about brings up an interesting kind of thing that I wanted to talk about is for people listening, there's multiple right ways to do business. Like, you don't have like what Chad just said is 100% real, and it works, and it's legit, and it actually works really well. But there's other ways to do it too. Like, for example, I consider myself more of an artist than an entrepreneur, and to explain that, like, I don't really want to work with newbies, like people who've never had any success. They have like really dumb questions, and like, I'm just too old for that. I don't have the patience for it, and I'm just not interested. So like, I'm probably not gonna like probably open like a low ticket thing for those like new people, because like if I have to talk to them and stuff, because I just it ruins my mood and my energy and I just don't want to. I don't want to speak about that stuff, that
Yep.
newbie stuff. A more like sociopathic entrepreneur, or a more baseline entrepreneur is like, dude, whatever, I don't care. Like, I'm not like, it's business. Like, we'll get someone involved in there. We'll get someone involved there. They'll compartmentalize. They'll outsource. They'll systemize SOPs. Team. That's never been us, right? We've always done business more from an artistic point of view of we work with who we want to work with. We don't work with who we don't. Like, I'm in our application page, I've never seen anyone go into the detail that we go into. I'm like, I don't want to work with anyone who's like in this industry, or does this or does that. Like I really qualify.
Disqualifying people right
Yeah,
before, yeah, because you don't want to waste your time with them, and that's
yeah,
that's great.
yeah. It's a more boutique. Like, we run a more boutique business, I would say.
Yep.
It's more, it's a, there's nothing wrong with this, but it's a bit mom and pop. It's more boutique, But I will say this: I know guys who are doing a lot more revenue than we are, but we're actually making more than they are,
Yep.
because they've got these fat teams that are way overpaid. They've got these insane ad budgets. We're primarily organic. And so I know their numbers because they shared it with us, and I was like, "Whoa, that's crazy! We actually do better than that." That's
I interviewed all of them. I know their numbers too. You can watch our podcast. Go
yeah,
back a couple episodes. You'll see a
yeah,
bunch of them on here.
yeah. I don't know if they're being honest or not, but
Oh, that's a different story.
yeah.
Can't do anything there.
No, but you don't have to be. Look, here, like, I think this is one of the most important messages I'd like to give people is that, like, dude, like, you be you. In the sense where it's like, don't look at, well, Akbar's doing it this way, or Chad's doing it this way, I got to do it. No, there's so many ways to crush it. You got to do the way that fits your lifestyle, your goals, the way you want to do things. Like, people have copied, like, make more, give more. If you want to look at it this way, has been very profitable for us. That message. But people have copied us, like copy and paste, like make more, give more. And they haven't made any money. Why? Because they just thought it was a marketing gimmick, which it's not. And they just wanted to copy and paste it. It wasn't real. It wasn't genuine. It didn't suit them. It didn't fit them. There was not an energetic alignment. So, we got to stop looking at what other people are doing. When I first joined Russell Brunson's mastermind so many years ago, there was a questionnaire, and it said, "What's your competition like?" I said, "Honestly, I have no idea who my competition is or what they're doing. I'm just doing things the way I want to do it." I mean, look what I'm wearing right now. I'm wearing a bathrobe, for God's sakes. It's like, just do things the way that you're comfortable with, the way you want to do it, and the most profitable person you can be is yourself. There's no, as long as you're helping people out and giving them value, you're gonna win, right? I mean, that's like the main thing. Get people results, like,
Yeah.
straight up. You know what I mean?
I think
What
that's
do you
what
think about that?
that's what most people. That's the mark that most people miss, is the result side. Is they're so focused on the program, the business, or whatever it is, that they're not focused on the people that are using it. What's their outcome? Are they getting results? Are
Yeah,
they getting wins? Right? Because
yeah,
you're right. You could have the shittiest looking store, as an example, but when you go inside,
yeah,
if it has exactly what you're looking for, you're gonna make a purchase. You're gonna continue buying. Right?
yeah,
Like, I've been to restaurants that look
yeah,
super shitty on the
yeah,
outside. Like, they're like,
yeah.
why would anyone step foot in this junk? Right? And then you go inside and they're like, dude, they had the best food I've ever eaten in my life.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
So it's
Perfect
very,
analogy.
yeah,
That's exactly what I was just about to say.
people focus on the outside instead of focusing on the inside. And I think that's a really good point to make. Um,
Dude, I've always had the ugliest funnels. I think mine are a little nicer now though. But there's always been spelling errors, grammar errors.
I'm the worst with spelling, dude.
I'm actually like from school. I always got C's and D's in English. I don't know how to do
Yeah.
grammar and spelling actually. Um, so, but I think the reason we've done so well is just because our focus has always been on just like getting people results.
Yeah, it's like the Amazon story. Why are they so successful? If you look at Jeff Bezos and all of his interviews, they say that they focus on the customer first. Customer comes
Yeah,
first, right?
yeah,
They build for the customer,
yeah.
and I think that that's really important.
Yeah,
Um,
that's another thing though, and I'm certainly not saying that you're doing this, but other people do it, and I don't like it. They're talking about we should not be really looking up to these guys, in my honest opinion, like Elon Musk and these guys are lived effed up lives. If you really like watch the documentaries and you see what they're going through in their family lives and their divorces and their
yeah,
addictions, like
there's a lot. Yeah,
they're messed up. Like these guys are totally messed up. They're not role models. We should not be looking. We should not stop comparing ourselves to Warren Buffett, our spending habits to Warren Buffett, and all this stuff. Like all this is so toxic. This is all hustle culture. This is all keeping up with the Kardashians. Um, I'll preach a little bit because it's just personal to me. I never found any success in life until I built a relationship with God. And God has, no matter if you're Muslim like me or Jewish, I think you're Jewish, right?
hmm
Jewish, Christian, doesn't matter. The holy books, and I'm very curious to hear your thoughts on this, Chad.
yeah,
You want to know, like, like the ClickFunnels world or whatever, like the Bible is like the .com secret,
yep.
series, right? But really, man, in business, the holy books, the best books in the world for business are the holy books. The holy books teach you how to do business. They teach you how to interact with people, how to deal with people, um, how to set up contracts with people, how to serve people. And all this mindset stuff that Tony Robbins and all these people talk about, you take out the cursing, it's like he's reading from these books, the holy books. I mean,
Mm.
everything they say are from the holy books. And what did we all agree? All the top earners agree that this game is majority mindset. And how do you get the best mindset? All the top mindset guys, Tony Robbins, they're just reading from they're just putting out their own twist, or they're just adding cursing to the holy books. Really?
They're simplifying it.
Yeah,
They're creating the message in a simplified version. So the normal person who one doesn't understand the holy books
yeah,
or doesn't understand anything, it just can understand. A lot of the times when you look at mindset trainings, it's always like this epiphany moment that you get. It's
yeah,
like he said something so simple, but I didn't realize
yeah.
what that meant
Yeah.
because nobody ever said it to me in a way that I could understand it.
And
Right?
it's also like a stigma thing too, right? And don't get me wrong, man. We're all sinners. I'm a sinner, right? I'm not here to like tell you I'm not, but a lot of people have, like, for example, maybe their parents like forced them to go to Sunday school or forced them to go to church or whatever, and they just didn't have a good relationship with that growing up. Maybe they had a strict Sunday school teacher that would hit them with a ruler on the hand, and so now you quote anything from the Bible, they're like traumatized. They don't want to hear about it. So that when Tony Robbins says it and there's dancing and there's music and he's like, F this, F that, and he's saying the same thing, they're open to that. Do you
It's
see what I'm
because it's
saying?
coming in a different delivery. It's a
Yeah.
delivery that they can relate to,
Yeah.
right? So everybody relates to things in a different way,
Yeah.
and that's just the way that they're relating to it. And that's why people, if you look at Russell Brunson, if you look at Tony Robbins, if you look at all of these big coaches that coach hundreds and thousands of people, right?
Yeah.
Why is it that somebody would rather go to a Tony Robbins event than, whatever, a Damon John event and listen to him speak? It's because the delivery. They
Yeah.
connect with that person, they connect with their values, they connect
Yeah.
with their messaging,
Yeah.
right? That's really
100%.
what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not a Gary V fan. But I have a big picture of him and I hugging in my office. And so you'd be like, well, why? You're not a fan of this guy. And honestly, I've never really consumed a lot of his content. I'm not a
I
fan.
haven't
It's
really either.
just energetically, right? It's not personal. Just some people, I just get uncomfortable listening to him. It's nothing personal. Um, so why the hell do I have a big picture of him in my office? It's because I did attend one of his talks there was like this like ClickFunnels like launch event or something, and he was giving a talk in Boise, I think. And he's like, somebody asked him, like, why are you building a following? Like, why are you building a following? Why do you do all this content? And he said, man, I'm building a spaceship. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, I'm building a following who likes me, and we're cultivating them so they, they're with me, they like and trust me, and I can point that spaceship at something like cancer and zap it away. And what does he mean by that? Is like, when you have a big following, it's like Gary Vee, if he threw like a charity auction tomorrow, this guy's going to raise millions of dollars.
Oh yeah, in a second.
Yeah. And so like he's like, if I want to raise millions of dollars to cure cancer, for example, which, we're not going to get into it, but they already have the cure. They're just not letting it out because it's too profitable to give chemo. But just using it as an example, I like that. I like that idea where it's like, you could do big things in like, in an instant. So, I do believe it's cool to put your message out there and to build a little bit of a following. I think it's there's benefit to it.
Well, I'm going to ask you one more question before we wrap up here, because I know we're running out of time. I know, and I hear you preach about it, and we've heard it multiple times on this podcast: make more, give more.
Yeah.
What's behind that, and what are you doing to make more and give more, and what are you teaching people to do with make more, give more? Just talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, man, make more, give more is a little misunderstood, or perhaps it's just evolved, and that's probably more of the truth, is that it's probably evolved. How it originally started is, I never had any money really in my life. So when I started making money, I wanted to give back. I think that's a very natural thing. I think most people do that. So my idea was give 10% of gross revenue. And so my accountant, who is also the accountant for a lot of like internet marketers, they're like, hey man, we're really proud of you. Like, you seem to donate a lot. And I was like, oh man, you guys screwed up my numbers, man. Like, I don't donate that much. I only donate like 10%. And they're like, no, that's what we got. But he's like, your peers, they don't do anything like that. And then when he said that, I was just like, it was like somebody punched me in the gut, in the throat at the same time. I'm just like, why? Like that, why don't they do that? I was like, okay, cool. Look, they just don't know that that's like the key to life, and that's the key to giving. That's the key to growth. Like, you will never go poor by giving, and giving is actually the greatest growth hack out there. So it's like, okay, cool. They don't know about it. Okay, I guess I got to go talk about it. And so that's how it was really born, where I was just like, all right, well, this is, and then that's also my legacy that I want to leave, is that, like, teaching people, why should you make more? And I like fancy stuff too, bro. Like, I've had the Bentleys and the Breitlings and all that stuff, and I like all that stuff. To be honest with you, I'm actually was looking at a Rolex the other day, and that's cool. But I think people should really make more to give more. And like, out of my entire career, the things I'm most proud about is the water wells that we've built, the community centers that we've built, the people who've had, we've given them the gift of vision by paying for their eye surgeries, and so many beautiful projects that we've been involved in. That's the thing I'm most proud about. And even if I go bankrupt tomorrow, I don't particularly care, because we've already like made a pretty good impact. And nothing can take that away. Like, no one's gonna go like take these wells down. No one's gonna go like take those people's eyeballs out. Like, no one's gonna, you know what I mean? Like, that, it's done. And that feels good, and that brings to someone contentment. That's why I'm not like an alcoholic, or like I got a drug problem, or I'm not seeing like all these therapists. It's because there's contentment. And early in my life, I did not have contentment for most of my life. But the giving is the ultimate biohack for your own self. It's the ultimate growth hack for your business. Whenever business is down, and of course, gurus like to pretend that it's never down, but
always up and down.
It's always up and down, man.
Even, by the way, even when it's up, sometimes it can be down.
Yeah, that's interesting.
That makes any sense.
Yeah. Whenever business is down, you know what I do? Logically, you'd say, what do you do? After you send an email out, you do a promotion, you make a special offer, you give a discount. What do you do? None of that. You know what I do? I go online and I go purchase a water well. That's what I do. I do something or I'll go sponsor some orphans, or I'll do something like that. I go give. And because guess what? It goes back to the holy books, because God promises.
Yep. When
God promises
you get back times 10.
or more.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the promise that God gave, and God's not a liar. And I've seen it. I've seen it in my own eyes. So that's the ultimate growth hack, man. So Make More, Give More has evolved from that. It's that too. It's very much still all that. But Make More, Give More is actually also about making more of yourself to give more of yourself to your families, communities, favorite charities.
Nice. I like that.
It's about improving you as a human being, health, wealth, relationship. It's about, because dude, when business is sucky, like you're not as good of a spouse, you're not as good as a parent, you're not as good as a person, because you're just kind of like down a little bit, grouchy, frustrated, stressed.
Yep.
So Make More, Give More is about, it's really about making, it's truly, as cliche as this might sound, it's truly about making the world a better place through optimizing individuals and making them happier and more whole.
Dude, I love that. Great message, man. Well, Akbar, we're out of time, brother. I appreciate you so much. By the way, for if anybody's watching this, obviously, I'm sure there'll be a bunch of people watching this. If they want to reach out to you, where's a good place that they can find you?
Man, I used to have this great. I should get that funnel back up. I haven't done. I took a break from podcasts. I'm back now. I had this great funnel I'd send people to. I'd give them my book for free. I don't think it's active anymore though. But where can people go? I guess just go to my Facebook, facebook.com/coach Akbar, Akbar.
Perfect. And also see your website there, akbarsheikh.com.
Oh, right? Yeah, akbarsheikh.com. It's not a bad place to go. Yeah.
That's a good place too.
How do you like that? To my point, nobody knows how to spell this name. I'm a top 1% earner in my space, and look at my website. You can't even spell it. You can't even pronounce it. So it all works, man.
All right, brother. Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you, and hopefully we'll see you here back in the next couple of months, crushing it as always. And we love you, brother, man. Have a great day.
Love you too, man. Appreciate you. Take care, guys.
Hey, do you want more of the Behind the Revenue podcast? Look, join our private Facebook group where marketing agencies from all over the world are sharing strategies, network, and scale their businesses together. Visit facebook.com/groups/DashClicks to get instant access. And also, if this podcast helped you in any way, please do me a favor, share it with friends, leave us a review on iTunes or Spotify. That really helps build our community.